Well, hello again, crochet friends, and I am here with part one of the tutorial for my blue Floribunda Roses pillow. Okay, so this is what I have going on. When I talked to you in my Floribunda Roses tutorial showing you how to make the roses and then into a granny square, I talked about doing a pillow, and I told you I was doing 4 colors of blue. But I decided that I'm doing 6, and so these are the 6 colors that I'm using, and I am of the blue, so I'm using Songbird, okay, and then the next light color, which is a little bit more aqua, is Breezy. I love that little pop of aqua in there. And then I've got, let's see, I've got Raindrop, then I've got Stonewash, okay, then I've got Lagoon, and then Denim. Those are the blues, and so this is what I'll talk about these greens in a minute, but this is what they look like. Here's one of each, okay, and the colors, and then here's one of each, how they look as their little rows before I put the granny square around them. So I just kind of want to explain everything that I'm doing. Aren't these cute? That's what the back side looks like, in case I haven't shown you that close up. So what I've done is I am making 25 for my pillow. So I'm doing a 5 across and 5 down, the squares on the pillow. Now here's my pillow form that I've shown you before, but I know it's going to be large, but here's the pillow form, okay? I just got it on clearance at a furniture store, and it's got kind of like a velvet color, and it's just a little bit darker than my THYME, which I like. So when I put this on the pillow, see, you're going to see a little bit darker green through that. And so let me stack these up here just to kind of show you what I'm doing. Put these back in the bowl. Before I move these out of the way, I'll show you I'm using CIDER for the center of the roses, okay? And I'm using THYME. I had been using Garden Green for my other projects, but I'm using THYME because I like how this looks with this pillow form. And then I'm using chamomile. Oh wait, I'm not even using chamomile in this. I don't know why I have this in here. Not using chamomile. Okay, so I'm just using 6 blues, the THYME, and the CIDER. And so far I've just used 1 skein of CIDER, and that's how much I've got left in it. So I might have to move up to 2, but I'll tell you that. And then I started out with 3 skeins of the THYME wound into cakes, and we'll see how far that takes me, and you know, I'll let you know in part 2 in the finishing, you know, how many skeins I needed for that. Now for the scarf that I showed you last time, I only needed 1 skein of the finishing. So, and then it was just all scraps, the rest. So I don't know if I specified that. I'm sure I probably did in the description of the video, but just letting you know that I do try to let you know how much I'm using of each one. All right, so let me put this pillow in here and kind of show you. So I'm going to go 5 across, and what I'm doing is I'm just doing 2 rounds of the granny square with the same color in THYME. So I'll be doing 5 across, and then starting another row, but it'll be 5 by 5. Okay, so I'll join them together in rows of 5. So because I'm doing 6 colors, I'm going to need 4 of each color, because that's 24, and then I need 1 more extra color. Okay, so just randomly throw in another blue color. All right, so that's what I'll be doing there, and then I'll have enough for that. Then I'm going to make 1 more extra one, because normally for the backing of my pillow, I'll just do the same thing for the back and just do them twice. But for this one, I think I'm just going to grab one, and before I put the cider border on the single crochet, I'm just going to keep crocheting more and more rounds of the thyme of the green until it gets as big as the back of the pillow, and I'll have one cute little flower, little rose in the middle, and then I'll just keep going until it matches the front side, and I'll talk about that, you know, in my next video and how I finish that, but I just wanted to let you know. So I'm making 25 for the front and 25 for the back. Now when I'm doing 2 rows of the same color, then all I do is, and I've shown you this in tutorials before, but let me just kind of explain a little bit, so I do the 1 round like normal, like I always show you, and then when I get to where I would change, you know, cut off my threads, do a knot, and change, I usually am ending here, because I usually start on the sides. I usually don't start in the corner. I don't know. Guess it depends on what mood I'm in. But say you're stopping here, and you don't want to cut your thread off because your yarn, in other words, your chunky thread, because you're going to keep doing the same color. I just do a slip stitch over the next 2, walking my yarn over into the next hole, and then just start again with the same color. That's how I do my granny squares if I'm doing the same color and I'm doing more than 1 row. And that's how I'll be doing that when I'm doing 1 square for the back of the pillow. I'll just keep going around, and where I end here, I'll just walk over 2 stitches. I'll just slip stitch 2 stitches until I can get into the next hole, joining with a single crochet like I always do, just not with a new color, with the same color, and just going around, and then just keep going around and around until it gets bigger. And so that's what I'll be doing for that. And I'm sure that I won't need more than 1 skein, you know, for the rose petals, for those of each color of the blue. So I'll just keep working with those. And then another thing I wanted to show you was I have had so many questions. Look at how cute these are in this bowl. They look like little macaroons or something, little flowers. I don't know. They're fun. And again, I wanted to show you the back side. I've had people ask me to see a close-up of the back, and that's just what it looks like. And I've had a lot of questions about how I organize my crochet and my projects. You know, so for instance, because I'm doing several projects out of the Floribunda Rose, then of course, because I'm designing this, I need to write everything down and I keep notes. But even if I'm not designing my crochet projects and I'm just doing a project, with any project I do, I always keep notes of what I'm doing. And the reason I do that is because I like to go back and see what I've done, if I need to do it again, or just if I need to buy more of something, you know, where I got it and things like that. And so I've shown you this before. I just wanted to bring it in though. This is one of my binders. These are my pages. I have a sew and stitch calendar where it has the calendar section, and I keep those in another binder. And I did a 2024, and now I've done a 2025. You know, I've been using that since obviously January 1st, the calendar part. But this is just the part where I have my projects. So I have a quilting section with all kinds of quilting projects in here. I have a stitch section where I do all my cross stitch. And then I have a yarn section, which I've shown you before. So in my yarn section, I have like my running list. I don't really want to show you because there's some things that I can't show yet. But let me move to the part where I can show, and I have shown you before. And so we can just talk about that again. So this is when I did my pillow tutorial right here. It was my THYME Squircle pillow, and I started with Granny granny circles, and then I did that. And so what I did, so this is where I write down all the colors that I've used, all the details, you know, like I made 32 granny circles, you know, what I needed to do. I've shown my progress. I talked about my start date, my ending date. I talked about my tutorials right here, just because I happen to be the one who did the tutorials. I still write them down in here so that I can go back if I need to. Say I want to make a pillow just like it, but in different colors maybe or something. I need to go back to my notes and see what I did. This is especially important in crochet, I think, because crochet is just something that is not specifically that you really follow a pattern exactly, because you're changing colors all the time, and you know, to match your decor and things like that. And so you want to take notes of what you've changed, even if you have a copy of a pattern, or if it's not a pattern, like most crochet tutorials are on YouTube. They're not patterns, they're just simply tutorials, and we show you how to make things. And so it's a good idea to keep notes. And so that's what I do. I just write everything down. And then, of course, you don't have to do this, but I take pictures along the way because I'm doing them in the slideshow for you, and I need to know the progress. And so this one I showed that I just did pictures, and you can use a small, tiny printer, or you can just take pictures and print them right off of your printer from your phone onto your printer. Excuse me. Copy pictures off of your phone using your printer. Just connect your phone to your printer, and then I just cut them out. I rounded the corners so they wouldn't get dog-eared. But so this is just pictures of my progress, like showing what each side looked like, you know, all that kind of thing. So I know exactly what I've done, even though I think I know I'm going to remember. I make pillows all the time, and you just don't remember every little detail from one to the other. And so, you know, I wrote down the pom-pom or popcorn stitch that I did for the tutorial, and I wrote down the stitches, things like that, just every detail. I did the same thing I've paper clipped these, but I did the same thing with my denim swirl pillow that I showed you how to do, okay? And so that's the same thing, all of the details on that. And then I will be doing the same thing for this pillow. I do that for every project that I'm doing, and whether it's cross stitch or quilting or anything like that, I like to keep track of everything that I'm doing, and you would be surprised how often I go back and use these and refer to them and look and see what I did, because I think I'm going to remember, but I don't, and I want to remember where I bought things, what tutorial I watched, what the name of the tutorial was, so that I could easily go back and find it. And I'm talking about you when you're following my tutorials. It would be so convenient for you to write down the name of the tutorial, and so that when you go to my channel, you can search on my individual channel. You can do a search of the name of the tutorial, and it will come right up. So you don't have to, you know, wonder where that was. And you're like, I know I saw that on Lori's channel, but I can't remember which, you know, crochet episode it was. And so if you just write that down while you're watching, I always take notes, you know, when I'm doing anything. So hopefully while you're watching, you'll take notes and then add them into whatever planner organization, you know, that you have. I like this one simply because I wrote everything down, so I have prompts of what I need to write down, so I don't forget to write anything down. I write down what sized hook I need, you know, who the project host is, where the supply sources are, every color, what gauge, what hook I'm using, what colors, how many skeins I needed, what pillow form the size is, all that kind of stuff, so I can always refer back to it. And so, you know, I hope you enjoy that little bit of advice, whether it's just a notebook that you keep in your crochet bag or whatever you want to do. I just kind of wanted to go over that again because I do keep getting, you know, those questions, and so I'm happy to share with that. And so anyway, so that talks about how I organize my projects, keep track of things, talks about the colors that I've used, and I'm getting ready to go out of town on vacation, and so I'm going to finish this pillow up until the point where when I come back and do part 2, it will be finished, meaning All the front will be done, all the back will be done, and I've explained how I'm doing that. I'll show you again what that looks like, and then I'll decide what border that I'm doing on the pillow, because I always like to do a border. And I'm assuming that I will probably do it in using cider, because I like a contrast, you know, contrasting color, but I don't know what kind of a border I'm doing. You know, I've done like the popcorn stitch, I've done different scallop stitch. It might be another scallop, but just kind of a different one, or I've done ruffled edge borders. But anyway, so I'll come back and I will show you what that pillow looks like, and I'll probably have all 3 sides done, except for the last side of the border, joining it together, and then I will show you and do a tutorial on the little border that I did for that pillow. So I hope that you are enjoying this series on my Floribunda roses. I hope you have some happy yarn on your crochet hook and that you're having fun with this series. Please leave me a comment. Let me know. I appreciate you watching and coming back to my channel and joining in on our little crochet community here on my channel. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all your kind comments, and I will chat with you later.